Hello everybody, hope you're doing well and thanks for joining us for another video. The other day I saw a video being shared on social media of somebody attempting to prove the earth is flat and chemtrails are real by reading a children's book.
I had to show this to you guys. This is a book that was given to us years ago. This is copyright 1958. All about airplanes. Okay, so what's this? The Rainmakers.
Unfortunately, I don't know who this original video came from. The posts sharing it didn't say. However, the lady in the video has a book from 1958 titled The First Book of Aeroplanes. And before she gets into trying to use it to prove the Earth's flat, she first found an extract about making rain.
Sometimes when rain has been badly needed for a long time, a pilot will turn his plane into a rain-making machine. When the meteorologist says the clouds are right, the pilot goes up and seeds them with a special chemical. And sometimes this seeding does make the clouds drop their rain.
Now, I highlight this because it ties into a video I made a few weeks back where I showed two clips that people were claiming showing planes spraying chemtrails, and I broke down exactly what was going on, and it wasn't chemtrails. And there was some comments from people on that video kicking off that geoengineering is real, which ties into this bit about rainmakers, because whilst this lady doesn't actually give any opinions or details as to why she's singled out this particular section, I think it's safe to say that she's bringing it up as a suggestion that chemtrails are real. Except these people seem to overlook that their claimed chemtrails are very different to geoengineering. Geoengineering are things to try and adjust the climate, like removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, or this cloud seeding from the book. Now, clouds are water vapour. When water vapour droplets become big enough, they fall to Earth as rain. But some locations can get lots of clouds but very little rain because the vapour droplets within them never get large enough to fall. So they get very little rainfall in those areas, which makes it very difficult to grow anything. The idea of cloud seeding is a plane flies through the cloud and sprays tiny salt particles into it, and the vapour molecules bond to the salt and condense, making them heavy enough to then fall as rain, which this book highlights. They seed already existing clouds to force them to rain. They aren't making clouds, which is what chemtrailers claim. They think planes are actually making the clouds from nothing, or they're just spraying humanity with chemicals because reasons. Though, just as a side note of how illogical their argument is, somebody commented, apparently citing a headline, that governments had recently invested huge sums of money into researching geoengineering. I think officially they do it to try and tackle global warming. The question though is, if this chemtrail stuff is real and it's been going on for decades as they claim, with seemingly thousands of planes every day spraying stuff, why are they only just starting to research it now? But anyway, she then moves on from rainmakers to try and show the Earth is flat.
One more interesting thing, I'll let you make your own conclusions about this, but this is the map that it says that they use for air travel because it's more direct. It's, interestingly enough, got the ice wall around it. It's got the North Pole in the middle. It's got the direct flight path from New York to Tokyo. It says, now a plane can fly the black line from New York to Tokyo. Doesn't that map just make sense?
I mean, you could argue that the map makes sense for Northern Hemisphere flights, like Tokyo to New York, but equally, that map makes absolutely no sense for Southern Hemisphere flights like Sydney to Santiago, or my new personal favourite flat Earth destroying flight, which is China Eastern's flight from Shanghai, China to Buenos Aires, Argentina, going via Auckland, New Zealand, which I've brought up to flat earthers before, and for some reason they do not want to talk about it.
It says 100 years ago you would have had to travel the dotted black line from New York to Tokyo. This is a globe Earth map, though.
That is no more a globe Earth map than the AE map is that she just showed previously. This is a Mercator projection of Earth, which is not a globe. So many times you will see flat earthers use a Mercator map to represent the globe rather than using an actual globe.
And it's showing how you have to go around to get there. Doesn't make sense.
Instead of using a distorted Mercator map, you could pull up Google Earth and show what the actual shortest route on a globe is. If I plot a line from New York to Tokyo, it puts the shortest route going north, near the pole, going over the edge of Russia to get to Japan, which, when viewed from the correct perspective, also makes a lot of sense. But then the route plotted on the Mercator map makes no sense for a plane anyway. As she highlights, the caption states, 100 years ago you would have travelled a dotted black line. Well, that line avoids all land, only going across oceans. And for a book published in 1958, 100 years before that would be 45 years before the first ever powered flight by the Wright brothers. So, seems this map is actually showing the route you would have taken by boat before plane travel made routes more direct. And that ship route on an AE map, yeah, that's long as well. It'd be handy if we could see the rest of the book. Thankfully, despite nowhere seemingly having physical copies available to buy online, I was able to find an archived PDF scan of this 1958 copy of the book that she's using. And sure enough, on page 3, right below the AE map that she shows, it states, quote, "For thousands of years, travellers have figured out distances between places by the routes they had to use. They had to sail in the sea lanes and travel the roads. Some places were impassable. Polar seas, choked with ice that never melt, high mountains, heavy jungles. There were no shortcuts through these places. But planes fly over these obstacles, travelling the shortest distance between two places." If you look at maps on this page, you can see just how much shorter some of the plane routes are. Journeys that used to take weeks, and before that months and years, can now be made in hours. The big world is becoming very small, end quote. Confirming the comparison between the maps is the length of the routes between planes versus ships, not flat Earth versus globe. But then even better, back up on page 2, right in between the two maps that she showed us, literally the first paragraph of the book states, quote, "Here are two maps of the world. You can see they look very different. One is the kind you usually see in your atlas or geography book, the other one is kind of an air map. Though the shapes of the continents look different on the air map, the maps you're accustomed to seeing do not show them exactly as they are either. To know what the world really looks like, you must look at a globe. A globe is the best air map there is." End quote. The AE map just gets used as a way of showing all the countries of the world in one single two-dimensional frame without centering any one particular country in the middle as a way of showing favoritism. It's the same reason that this similar map gets used as the logo for the UN. But flat earthers like to claim the use of the AE map is a way of saying that the Earth is flat, like the lady with this book, even when in the broader context, it's actually saying the Earth is a globe. It's like this social media post I saw going around where they're claiming that British television in the 60s said the Earth was flat. In reality, this is a show from 1967 where the broadcast begins with a view of the Earth as a rotating globe, and the whole section is explaining how they are now using satellites in space to broadcast TV all around the globe.
Live pictures from across the world will be brought to us here in Britain. At the same time, they will reach millions of viewers in 24 different countries throughout the world. For some people watching, it will be the evening as it is for us. For some, it will be breakfast time. For others, the middle of the day. For others, the middle of the night. This program would not have been possible before 1967. Europe was joined to America by satellite across the Atlantic in 1962. But the link across the Pacific was not completed until 1966. Our world was going to circle the globe for the first time.
So, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. But thank goodness for the Civil Aeronautics Administration that makes the air safer for us all.
Yes, thank goodness for them realising the Earth is a globe and saying that too. Otherwise, it could have been very awkward if planes had been putting the wrong amount of fuel in because they were plotting their routes based on the Earth being flat. It seems strange she would read the caption all about rainmaking and show everybody the two maps, but not mention the block of text between them that points to the Earth being a globe. Surely she can't have missed it. And conveniently, she also managed to not show it on camera either. But she did manage to show and read aloud the tiny text just 3 centimeters above it. It's almost like she intentionally didn't show the part where her own evidence points to the Earth being a globe, because that would be pretty embarrassing to show in a video where you're trying to suggest the Earth is flat. Toon's first law of flurf holds true once again. But why would any honest truth seeker want to do that? You know, perhaps she thought using a kid's book from almost 70 years ago would make it impossible for people to actually fact-check her, but thankfully this is one of the things that the internet is actually good for. So there we are. As always, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't already done so, then please do consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video.